Welcome to Washington in Focus. I'm your host, Brett Davis, the Center Square's Washington State editor. Joining me today is reporter Spencer Pauly. So today's topic hits somewhat close to home for you as you're a resident of Seattle, and that's because Target recently announced it will be closing 9 stores in 4 states due to retail theft, and that includes 2 stores in Seattle. Now, you spoke to a couple of Seattleites about the 2 stores that will be shuttered. The folks you talked with had what may be considered a surprising reaction to the stores closing. Can you give us some details?
Sure. To put it bluntly, Seattle will not miss these 2 Targets. I think Target said there are about 22 remaining stores across Seattle, but me personally, these 2 were the ones that I went to, and Seattle residents I talked to also went to these as well. But the one thing they said is that they kind of saw this announcement coming. The shelves were getting stocked less and less, and you can maybe attribute that to retail theft, which is the case for these 2 stores. One thing we should look at here is Seattle has been dealing with retail theft crime for a while here now. It's really jumped since the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me show some statistics here. A recent Seattle audit report tallied over 13,000 calls to the Seattle Police Department from the top 100 retail locations in the city in just last year. This includes Target, of course, and responding to these calls costs officers about 18,600 hours of time. That's equivalent to the annual work of 9 full-time patrol officers.
Yeah, you mentioned the National Retail Federation report in your story. I did a little digging myself, and I guess last year, retail crime accounted for, this is nationwide, $112.1 billion in losses. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. And when I ask Seattle residents what they think about, the cause being retail theft, they're looking at perhaps a bigger picture as to why are people stealing from Target. And it goes to, do we provide basic services to these people? The food that they may be stealing, clothing, shelter, whatever have you. But on the other side, you have to consider that Target employees are going to lose their jobs because of these shutdowns, because of other people's actions.
Now, one of the people you talked to, apparently she went to a big Target store in Sacramento, California, and the 2 Target stores that are closing out here, she was complaining about them being too small, and there were just not that many people shopping in them. So it seems like she's not very upset that they're going away.
She said she loves Target. She grew up near one. A lot of kids growing up in neighborhoods where there's Target, it was a place you kind of went and explored around. That's just what Target is, especially in my case too. But when you move out to Seattle, it is kind of different. The how Target is set up inside city limits. They have their own parking lots that cost money to park in.
You have to pay money to park at Target in Seattle?
Yes, you do, and that's 30 minutes free parking, but even if I shop quick, I somehow have to still pay parking. But that's besides.
It's like you're on a game show, get as much stuff as you can in 30 minutes.
I sprinted through that Target, the one that's closing down.
It's not just shopping, it's a workout.
I think the way that it is set up is interesting to say the least. It is very compact, not spread out, and parking is an issue as well. If you wanted to park on the streets to avoid paying, the $2 fee, good luck as well. One thing I think should be noted here is that there is a notorious Target location in downtown Seattle. This one has so many items covered and blocked off that you need to call, assistance to unlock it, to open up. And it's gotten so bad, I've heard outside of who I interviewed that usually people working there will follow customers around and say, what else do you need? Because I don't want to keep coming back when you need assistance.
Sounds like a prison for merchandise.
Yes, but that store is still operating, maybe just because of its location near Pike Place. But that one has dealt with so much retail theft that have gone through so many measures. One thing that I will note about the Seattle audit report from this year is that Seattle Police Department's not getting any calls from these retailers about, cases of retail theft. And they attribute that to these retailers boosting security. Now, both these Targets that are closing down, I have seen security guards there watching the entrance. But I guess in this case, it's just not enough.
I thought maybe they'd just given up so they don't report to the police, but maybe that's too pessimistic of you.
Who knows?
I wonder if the big Target in downtown Seattle you're talking about, when all of its problems, I wonder if it's on the chopping block and we just don't know it yet.
Well, I think that's the one thing Seattleites were surprised about is like which 2 Seattle Targets are closing, not the downtown one. surprise to me.
Of course, Target isn't the only a store in Seattle to shut down. There have been plenty, and I suspect there will be some more in the future. I'm sad to say.
Oh yeah, we've had the Target location downtown, Starbucks locations across the city have closed down as well. I remember last year reporting on one of the Starbucks closing down because of retail theft. Went inside and saw retail theft occur.
I believe you witnessed an actual incident of theft at Starbucks.
Yep, someone came in, stole some, I don't know, one of those like veggie trays or whatever is down there. No coffee, but other things they have down there that, employees can't really supervise.
Stolen veggie trays. Who knew?
You need your vegetables somehow, I guess.
That's right. Get your vegetables anyway. Well, I am sad to say this will probably be an ongoing story, so I imagine you'll be doing more stories in this vein.
Yep. Yeah, and hopefully no more Targets near me are closing down.
Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For Spencer Pauly, this is Brett Davis. Please subscribe, and thanks for listening.